Now here we have 4-year-old genius invited to Mensa. 4-year-old. Albert Einstein was a genius. On December the 31st, 1999, Time magazine selected Albert Einstein as the person of the century. Well, that's what they would have you believe. But while I was researching the origin of the theory of relativity, I discovered the unthinkable. Historians are claiming Albert Einstein was a fraud, a plagiarist, and a wife beater, among other things. But what really surprised me was that he had an affair with Marilyn Monroe. So first we have to talk about the fact that Einstein was not a genius. On the website Neatorama, they have a blog post titled 10 Strange Facts About Einstein. And number 4 is Einstein failed his university entrance exam. It says in 1895, at the age of 17, Albert Einstein applied for early admission into the Swiss Federal Polytechnical School. He passed the math and science sections of the entrance exam, but failed the rest, including history, languages, geography, etc. Einstein had to go to a trade school before he retook the exam and finally admitted to ETH a year later. In this website, again, it confirms that Einstein, in fact, did fail an examination that would have allowed him to study for a diploma as an electrical engineer at the ETH. So on this website, PBS 13, in the article Einstein the Nobody, we're going to talk about people having to pull strings to get Einstein a job and how bad Einstein's grades were. So it says here, a friend of Einstein from the university, Marcel Grossman, had pulled the right strings to get Einstein the patent job in 1902. Grossman's help was necessary, not so much because Einstein's final university grades were unusually low. So cramming with the ever-useful Grossman's notes, Einstein had just managed to reach 4.91 average of a possible 6, which was almost average. But because one professor, furious at Einstein for telling jokes and cutting classes, had spitefully written unacceptable references. Teachers over the years had been irritated by his lack of obedience, most notably Einstein's high school Greek grammar teacher, Joseph Degenhardt, the one who has achieved immortality in the history books through insisting that nothing will ever become of you. Later, when told it would be best if he left the school, Degenhardt had explained, your presence in the class destroys the respect of the students. Now here it says, after Einstein had gotten the job at the patent office, he had applied for a promotion from third class to second class. His supervisor, Dr. Frederick Haller, had rejected him, writing in an assessment that although Einstein had displayed some quite good achievements, he would still have to wait until he has become fully familiar with mechanical engineering. This is a genius to you guys? Someone has to explain this. This guy's supposed to be a genius. So far, he dropped out of high school. He needed someone to pull strings for him to get a job at a patent office. He was a third-class clerk. He couldn't even get up to a second class. He couldn't even get the promotion. You guys have been telling me for years this guy's a genius. Let's keep going. Let's go to about.com, article on Albert Einstein, a humble genius. It says here, I want you to remember this age because this is going to be very important. When Einstein was 15 years old, his father's new business had failed, and the Einstein family moved to Italy. At first, Albert remained behind in Germany to finish high school, but he was soon unhappy with that arrangement and left school to rejoin his family. He dropped out of high school. Yes, Albert Einstein dropped out of high school. Now, again, it says rather than finish high school, Einstein decided to apply directly to the prestigious Polytechnical Institute in Switzerland, and of course he failed. 15 years old, dropped out of high school, tried to get into a technical school, failed. This is your genius. Here it says, right after Einstein was born, relatives were concerned with Einstein's pointy head. Then when Einstein didn't talk until he was 3 years old, I want you to remember this. 3 years old. This genius, this genius didn't talk until he was 3 years old. His parents worried something was wrong with him. Einstein also failed to impress his teachers. From elementary school through college, his teachers and professors thought him lazy, sloppy, and insubordinate. Many of his teachers thought he would never amount to anything, and he never did. It's all a scam, it's a fraud. This is not a genius. He didn't talk till he was 3 years old. How do you explain that, man? Your genius didn't talk till he was 3 years old. I want you to remember these ages. 3 years old and 15. Dropped out of high school, 15. Didn't talk till he was 3. Remember that, because I'm going to show you some real geniuses right after this. Now, when we look at the book, Cognitive Evolution, the Biological Imprint of Acquired Intelligence, you get a very interesting quote from the Encyclopedia Britannica 2007 edition. It says here, in Munich, Einstein attended rigidly disciplined schools under the harsh and pedantic regimentation of the 19th century German education, which he found intimidating and boring. He showed little scholastic ability. He left secondary school without a diploma. Again, this is from the Encyclopedia Britannica, 2007. You can go look it up.
What did you do?
Moving forward, when we go to the book On the Shoulders of Giants, this is a very interesting quote. It says, in 1895, Einstein attempted to skip high school by passing an entrance examination to the Federal Polytechnical School in Zurich, which he hoped to pursue a degree in electrical engineering. This is what he wrote about his ambition at the time. If I were to have the good fortune to pass my examinations, I would go to Zurich. I would stay there for 4 years in order to study mathematics and physics. I imagine myself becoming a teacher in those branches of natural sciences, choosing the theoretical part of them. Here are the reasons which lead me to this plan. Above all, it is my disposition for abstract and mathematical thought and my lack of imagination and practical ability. Lack of imagination and practical ability. Someone explain this to me. This is your genius.
You all right, Bob?
Now in this section, I want to talk about real geniuses. Alright, so let's look at our first genius. We have a black female named Love, a 15-year-old who earned perfect ACT and SAT scores. Remember I told you guys at the age of 15, Albert Einstein dropped out of high school? Do you think he could have passed the ACT or the SAT at the age of 15 when he flunked an examination test? Huh? Let's keep going. It says here, Love's latest ACT, SAT, PSAT, and AP scores, all perfect, symbolize the payoff for a lot of hard work. Wow. Then we have this Indian student who gets perfect SAT score in the UAE. It says here, a 15-year-old Indian student test score in the UAE. Sanjit Kapoor has scored 2,400 in the coveted SAT held on November the 7th. Then we have this California boy, 14, who gets perfect score on SAT. Varan John, a precocious middle schooler from East Bay, walked away from the SAT with a score of 2,400. How do you guys explain that? This guy's smarter than Einstein. Then we have another guy, Valerie Anthony Young, gets perfect SAT and ACT scores. I mean, this is ridiculous. Perfect score in SAT. Then we have this other student who gets a perfect score in the AP test and the SAT. I mean, guys, you have to explain this to me. 11-year-old scores higher than Einstein on the Mensa IQ test. Everyone is scoring higher than Einstein because he was a flippin' idiot. It says here, Ramarni has been invited to take the IQ test after writing an essay for Oxford University that received an impressive score. He scored an IQ of 162, placing him in the top 1% in the UK. He said that he was surprised by his score because he wasn't confident about the test when he completed it. Ramarni has earned all the bragging rights, but with his brilliance comes much modesty. Then we have this young fella, Joshua Beckford, the youngest kid to attend Oxford University. Remember, Einstein dropped out of school at the age of 15. He couldn't talk till he was 3. This guy can't be more than 10. Huh? Maybe 7. Let's look at the age. Age 8. What? Talk to me. Age 8, you're probably practicing the sport or was preparing for the 3rd grade. Well, meet an 8-year-old with the twist, Joshua Beckford. This particular young boy is by far not your average 8-year-old. He studied at Oxford University at the age of 6. At the age of 6, Einstein just started talking to me. I mean, he could barely string words together. Okay? Alright, so he's the face of the National Autistic Society's Black and Minority Campaign. It's put into place to highlight the obstacles that people with black minority background often encounter when trying to obtain the access to support and services they need. Beckford advanced for his required school grade, so that led him into being homeschooled. He excels in math, foreign languages, history, philosophy, IT, and science. Professor at City University named him one of the smartest kids in Einstein dropped out of school, he passed the examination test. And later we'll talk about his plagiarism. So this is sad that you guys keep talking about Einstein when you have people that are smarter than Einstein, didn't plagiarize, weren't wife beaters, weren't sociopaths, right? And the list goes on. But let's look at this young girl here. Year old! 3-year-old girl scores off the charts in the UK. At 3-year-old, Einstein just started to talk. How do you explain this to me? How do you explain this to me, man? This is a genius, right? 3-year-old scores off the charts in IQ tests as she teaches herself Spanish on an iPad. At the age of 3, Einstein couldn't even talk. He gave a buckle of shoes. And y'all calling him a genius. Y'all better stop that nonsense, man. Now here we have 4-year-old genius invited to Mensa. 4-year-old. A year after Einstein could talk. She's already what? She wrote the alphabet at 4 months. Then at 18 months learned numbers in Spanish. The precociously intelligent youngster claims she's smarter than her parents in both